10 days ago, Daphne Caruana Galizia's assassination scarred the landscape of this country, of our people. Not recognizing that the country has taken a knock would be like staring at the elephant in the room, straight in the face, without acknowledging it. Our image of the stable country that we are has suffered. Ironically, EY's annual competitiveness survey, conducted before last week's barbaric act, tells us a completely different story. The Malta shown in EY's study, the various credit reports, and the families and businesses moving up the social ladder. That is the real Malta. Malta is a peaceful, thriving nation, a strong and stable democracy where the rule of law is as strong as in any other European Union member state. Having said this, my feet are firmly rooted to the ground. I acknowledge the need for introspection and for even more improvements. I want to be very clear about this. This horrific murder, for motivations that are still unknown, does not define us as a nation. More than ever, we must be united and send out the message that this is a horrific exception, an occurrence that I, for one, will not be ready to forget. But we are a positive nation that can rise to the occasion and unite to defeat those trying to instill fear. Last week was an attack on us all. As Prime Minister, I am determined to get to the bottom of this horrific act and to get the country back on its feet as quickly as possible. 3 weeks ago, the Finance Minister presented one of the most positive budgets in our history. No increase in taxation, tax refunds for 200,000 workers, and VAT exemptions for small businesses. All against a backdrop of over 6% economic growth, a surplus in our finances, while introducing some €35 million worth of social justice measures and social mobility measures that show that this country is compassionate and considerate towards the well-being of those who need it most. Our problem in jobs does not stem from unemployment. Our challenge is that our employers are not finding enough employees. That is an issue that we will be tackling this year through Jobs Plus by formulating policies to ensure that our systems are open enough to receive workers whilst having the necessary checks and balances not to allow any abuses. Last year, one of the major issues raised during this same event was transport. This is still an issue, and I know the nature of the challenge that we face. Years of underinvestment and fragmentation of public transport, massive increases in new cars on our roads each and every day, and an increase in passengers and their loads on buses. Our roads are suffering the consequences of economic growth and underinvestment. They're taking a toll. Our plan is to improve our infrastructure to European standards over the next 7 years. Another challenge of a growing economy is housing prices. To put it mildly, conspiracies of a property bubble or a housing crisis are completely off track, as studies have shown. Yet, even here, we are not to ignore challenges, and we are focused on the matter, working on solutions through a thorough white paper proposing strong measures to ensure sustainable growth in this sector. Our sight remains firmly on the future. Difficult moments, such as the one we are going through, should not defeat our long-term plans. We are living in an exciting digital age that has brought about huge socio-economic progress on a near global level, radically transforming the way we live in a relatively short period of time. We have been living a digital revolution of sorts for a few decades already. The information age has so far generated a significant net positive dividend, albeit not uniformly distributed across the world. It has swept away many old economic paradigms, transformed society, created new jobs, generated economic growth, and changed our lifestyles. Europe, in my opinion, must take a leading role in the data economy, not only from the innovation perspective, but also to ensure that the European businesses and citizens at large are well prepared to embrace it, to be able to gain the maximum benefit from it, and to ensure that this will not result in a broader or deeper digital divide. The drive for the next generation connectivity, such as 5G, only addresses the last mile of the challenge. Connectivity is important, but it is not the only critical success factor for the European Union to take a leading position in the data economy. Successful data economies will rely on a broader set of enabling technologies and intelligent platforms. A strategy aiming, say, at accelerating the introduction of autonomous driving vehicles would likely fail if such technology is disconnected or isolated from the rest of our infrastructure, or streaming data that should be available from the environment in which such vehicles would need to operate. Intelligent transportation and traffic management systems, for example, should take then a priority. We should need also to prioritize standards, including the areas of cloud computing, IoT, and data technologies. It is imperative that this is achieved in the shortest possible time, so as not to delay investments in infrastructure, which is critical for enabling the real takeoff of the data economy. Nurturing a well-trained workforce and digitally literate citizens in the data economy will become the new factor of production, and the primary assets across many sectors will be crucial to define. The new digital revolution has the power to widely disrupt the labor markets across the sectors, fueled by machine learning or AI. Within a generation, the new digital revolution is likely to automate the work of a significant number of knowledge workers, raising the bar for the latter in terms of reskilling. It would be not a matter of ensuring that knowledge workers would have the basic digital skill sets anymore. New jobs will require better soft skills and a high level of cognitive and interpersonal skills that AI-enabled technology would not be able to match. The education sector needs to start preparing for this now, as traditional education offerings could fail to meet tomorrow's requirements. Disruptive innovation is as old as the wheel, and mankind has always benefited from the adoption of technology. Resourcefulness has always turned undesirable short or long-term side effects of disruptive technology into new opportunities, paving the way for new industries, services, and jobs. There is no reason why this should not also happen to address the opportunities and challenges of the new digital revolution today, especially in an era where collaboration among countries on this topic, combined with the use of technology itself, is at an all-time high. This government is working relentlessly to harness these new economic niches. Last week, while celebrating one of the first venture capital investments here in Malta, I announced new areas in innovative disruptive technologies which are being explored. Firstly, a study to discuss regulation and supervision of persons providing investment services in virtual currencies, ICOs, and exchanges to create a regulatory environment for new business, such as innovative banking solutions. Secondly, we will be establishing a task force with the aim to propose initiatives to attract new companies in the fintech industry and its sub-segments such as RegTech and New Tech. We are not rushing through such important innovative areas, but we are working relentlessly to be among the first in the world to provide a regulatory environment and framework that will create the new environment for new business to set up here in Malta. To conclude on a personal note, my sense of duty towards each and every individual in this country grows with every day that passes. Last week's events have touched me in a way I haven't felt before. In time of grief, people will look at their leaders to give direction and leadership. That is what I am determined to do, more than ever before. Thank you, and may you have a productive discussion during this conference.